the Cutco, whatever you want to call it. It is insane. You guys have no idea what it is until you're actually there. There's hundreds of people all doing what you're doing, and it's amazing, to be honest. I can't really put words to that, but I did have a 10K SC2 push. I signed up for the Alliance. I did all that. It was hard. It was hard. I had days, through like a 10K push, you'll have days where you're like, you'll sell $3,000 and you're like, yeah, on top of the world. And then there's other days where you'll do 4 demos and have no sales, or have a day of demos cancel or something. A lot of adversity that I faced in my push. And I was at $9,000 until the very last day, last appointment, put me over 10K for the push, and then a few extra phone orders when I was at SC2 and on the bus ride. But so that was some of my memories and highlights, and some of the lessons that Cutco has taught me is that, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Your thoughts become things, and they really do. And it took me this year to realize that whatever you're thinking in your head, it's going to become real. It's just something about it, like, throws itself out there to the universe and comes back at you. If you're like, oh, I'm looking in the mirror, I need to lose some weight, I'm a little chunky, and then what's going to happen? You're going to gain more weight because you're thinking about that. Or, okay, so I've never sold anything in my life, but here we are today in a sales job, so I'm just going to go all for it. And I was like, yeah, I think I could be good at it. Here I am branching a year later, not to brag, but whatever you think really becomes real. So not trying to be like, oh my gosh, cancer, I can't think about that. Don't filter your thoughts by negativity or anything like that. But always when you feel that, switch it around, so that way, you're thinking positively all the time. Also, a lot of emotional management. I am Greek, I'm Italian, I'm all these crazy stuff, so I'm very emotional, to say the least. So I react to everything. My family is like my big fat Greek wedding. That is my family. So basically, and when I'm in front of customers, that's really where it taught me. When they would tell me no, I used to straight up, I'd start sweating on my appointments, and I was like, But at this point, when someone tells me no, I'm like, oh, it's game time. We're going to go through this drop down right now. But that translates to real life scenarios. When my friends come at me with their problems, or if they're crying in front of me, I know what to do. I just stay calm, cool, collect, and deal with that. As well as, aside from that, just the time management. I've always been somewhat good at time management. I was super involved in high school, but this really took it to another level. I've never planned out my days so strategically as I do now, as what I'm doing in every 15-minute intervals. And that comes from the TLA program, which I'll talk about in a second. And also the financial responsibility. I would blow through money. It was bad. I would just straight up do whatever. But this job has taught me a lot of financial responsibility as well, which also comes through the TLA. I'll talk about it later. So some parts of being a part of management, it really elevates you as a person, because you do get a lot of one-on-one time with Mike. So Mike's taught me a lot, and I know he's standing right there, and I'm not saying this just to blow smoke up his ass, but basically, I love how he's constantly evaluating the business, and he's always looking for ways to improve. It's yeah, we're doing good. We're number 2 right now in the country, but how can we be number 1? How can we get better? So going through our people to find PRs rather than just doing advertisement, little things like that, always coming back, he's just always dissecting things and seeing how he can better himself and whatever it is that he's working on. That's something that I truly admire and I aspire to be. And also, he's very big on following your dreams. He has, if you read his book, he's kind of followed all his dreams. So I have a lot of dreams. You all have a lot of dreams, and he'll teach you ways on how you can get that, and he'll encourage you and build you up and build your confidence. Just like me, I was afraid to sing in front of people. You guys have seen me sing, half of you guys up at karaoke, like it's nothing. I was not always like that. Also, just to always improve yourself. There's ways to get better. Even if you're the best, how can you be better? He's very humbled, and I really appreciate that, and I like that about him. Also, so the TLA program is absolutely amazing, guys. If you hate Cutco, I would say just stick it through for the summer so you can get through that TLA program, because it teaches you so much. It teaches you things that college does not, that high school does not. things that you need to know for your life, like about credit. They show you a whole bunch of different credit card stuff, ways you can build your credit. Aside from that, like airlines, I did all that, the airline little stuff. But anyways, also TLA teaches you a lot of financial responsibility about saving money, withholdings. It takes money out of your paychecks, which you can sign up for to go into withholdings account for management over the summer. And that's just basically a way for you to save money. Also, TLA teaches you a lot of personal growth, fitness. They go over everything, you know, how to stay fit, how to eat healthy, how to manage your time. It's just all the goods, really. And it has helped me so much, this program. Like, if I was to quit Cutco today, I never would have one bad thing to say about it, because I've learned so much about just from the TLA program. It's absolutely amazing. And just all the personal growth that I've got. I've never listened to personal audio growths or motivational videos or anything like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go do this. But listening to that instead of music in the car is something I've been working on. And I have been doing it a lot more, and it just puts you in a really good mindset. You're ready to do whatever it is that you need to do, and it's something good, feeding your mind, instead of, you know, whatever it is that Lil Uzi or whoever's saying some dumb crap on the radio or anything like that. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have for the talk. Does anyone have any questions?
How much do you have saved right now?
I currently have 4,100 saved. I just had to, I had 5K, but it's going to be back to 5K before I branch. But yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
Cool. Awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words too. And what's interesting enough is that that's all I know, because my mentors, that's how they treat me. That's how they raise me in the business, because that's how they were raised, and that's what we do. We pay it forward. And I expect when Amanda runs her business, just like when Dalia ran hers, and they treat their people the same way. And we are the #1 recruiter of college students in North America. If we recruit 100,000 students every year, well, those students are eventually going to go into the business world. If we all raise them in the way that Amanda's talking about, all the future business owners and business people and successful people in the world are going to come from Vector Train. We really could, I hate to say the words, but it sounds really cliche, but change the world. Like, legitimately, our business as a responsibility, more so than anything else, to change the way people think. That's what we do.
I forgot something.
Quick.
So, also, I kind of forgot the most important part, which is why I'm excited for the summer. Well, duh, it's because I'm running a branch office. But really, the main reason why I wanted to branch is, at first, I was in it for the financial part, which is really nice, by the way. But at this point in my career, after coaching half of the room and all that good stuff, I just really want to show people that are my age, younger or older, that there's better jobs that you can be doing. I'm working in a department store, or working at a fast food place, or even as a server. This is what's going to help your future. And I just want to leave the same positive impact and give other people the same opportunity that I was given. That's why I want to branch.
Love that. So why don't we do this real quick? Why don't we
But I really want you all to write down 2 words. If you're going to write anything down, 2 words: unlimited potential. I'll just write down unlimited potential. That's exactly what you have here. Unlimited potential. That is an undeniable fact. Just like the sky is blue, just like the sun is hot, just like the earth is flat. Some of you might believe that, some not. It was a joke. Maybe. So we all have the same vector opportunity. We all start off with the same sample kit of 4 knives and the extra stuff. We all start off we have the same vehicle here. But some people get much more out of the vector opportunity than others. Why? Why do you, and this is interactive, why do you guys think some people get so much more out of this job than others?
Put in the work.
Sure, put in the work. That could be one reason.
You take care of your opportunity vehicle, the opportunity vehicle takes care of you.
I like that one. So I would agree with those. I think what it all boils down to, said differently, is people stop growing. They stop growing themselves. They stop growing their business. They fail to stop growing. And there's an expression, you're either green or growing, or you're brown or dying. And there's really no in between. I've been in this business. This is my 3rd full year. I'm going into my 4th summer with Cutco. And there have been times where I'm really green and growing. There have been times where the tree's not looking so hot. But there's really no gray area there. It's one or the other. So what I'm going to do is I really want to give you guys 3 tools. I want to equip you with 3 tools to tap into that unlimited potential and really get the most out of your opportunity. So if you guys really tempted to ask you how many tools, but I think you guys know it's 3. So, so the first tool number 1, if you're taking notes, is master the fundamentals. Master the fundamentals. Bless you. So there's a famous author named Malcolm Gladwell, and he has a book. I can't remember what exactly it's called, but he talks about outliers. Essentially, it is outliers. Okay. So in it, he talks about the 10,000-hour rule. By a show of hands, is anyone familiar with the 10,000-hour rule? Well, a couple of you. So essentially what this talks about is mastery, and that it takes 10,000 hours of doing something to really be considered a master, to master that skill. Now, I'll tell you the cool thing about Vector is it does not take 10,000 hours of work to see exciting results. I'm going to use Mason as an example for a minute because I coach him. Mason has not put in 10,000 hours worth of work this semester. It might feel like it sometimes, but he hasn't put in 10,000 hours of work, but he's still gotten some pretty exciting results, making somewhere in the neighborhood of like $7,000 as a high school senior. That's not the norm, but putting in that extra effort, all that extra work, that's also not the norm. What we do here, it's really not normal. Have any of you, by a show of hands, tried to explain the job to someone before? It's kind of hard to do. I've been here 3 years. I still haven't really figured out exactly how to explain what we do here. But anyways, to get back on track, focusing on mastering things. You don't have to invest 10,000 hours to master the fundamentals here. But the fundamentals here, it's 3 things. There's 3 keys. It's your close, your rec approach, and your phone skills. I'm going to focus mainly on the first 2 of closing and your rec approach. Phone skills, that's for another time. But here's what I'm going to preface this by saying. If you want to elevate your results, you have to elevate your standards for yourself. I'll say that again. If you want to elevate your results, you have to elevate your standards for yourself and what you're willing to tolerate. Mike Scott's a great example of this. He probably got sick of tolerating having 0 weeks, so he went out and did something about it. Now he's seeing the results. That's just one of so many examples over the course of this spring. So here's a really simple rule of thumb for mastering it. You want to learn your rec approach, you want to learn your close, and those are things you've probably heard too many times at this point. But if you've heard something more than once, that means it's important and you should probably do it. See, some of you, I know for a fact you know your rec approach and your close because the results week after week speak for themselves, are consistent. Some of you, you just kind of know your approach, and you know you're the only one that really knows. But if you're not excited, if you're not okay with the results you're getting, we'll say recommendations, because I've been someone that struggled with recs for a really long time. If that's an area where you're struggling, you have to really commit to knowing your approach. There's a difference between kind of like, yeah, I kind of know my approach. I kind of know how to ask for recs. And Tyler, you could slap me out of my sleep at 3 in the morning. I'm going to do it word for word perfect without messing up. There's a difference there. And I did this with Mason probably 2 or 3 weeks onto the job. He was doing good with sales, struggling with recommendations a little bit. And I would encourage you to do this with your coach maybe if they're willing to give you the time for it. But we just carved out, how much time did we spend working on your rec approach?
No more than like 30 minutes.
It was like half an hour tops.
Yeah, I came early.
Exactly. He busted his butt for that half an hour, essentially just practicing over and over again. If you'd make a mistake, start the rec approach over. It was a little intense for 30 minutes. But man, the results pay off week after week now. That's what I'm talking about when I say mastering the fundamentals. Same thing with your close, but I would start with your recommendations. So another key, last thing, and I'll move on with mastering the fundamentals, is what do you do when you're driving? You don't necessarily have to always be doing something productive when you're driving, but even if you just do something productive while you're driving to stuff Cutco related, like a team meeting, driving to your demos, driving home, it doesn't have to be every single time you set foot in your car, but just when you're driving for stuff work related, if you can just do stuff like I'm kind of crazy. I talk to myself a lot. I would literally just practice my close and practice my rec approach out loud over and over again. I used to have a 45-minute drive to the office. I would make the most of that time. Sometimes listen to the radio. Sometimes I would literally just, practice my close over and over again out loud, do my rec approach over and over again out loud. That's how I got good at it early on. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that all the time. But man, if you just do stuff like that when you're driving to the team meeting once a week, dramatic difference right there. So that's mastering. That's essentially mastering the fundamentals. The other two are a lot quicker. Tool number 2 is create unshakable conviction. And I'll preface it with this. When you're on fire, people will come to watch you burn. Here's what I mean by that. Take sports as an example. You know, you have professional football games where people fill up the whole NFL stadium, thousands and thousands of people. And how much do football tickets cost, by the way? Yeah, we call 50, 100. Like we'll say if you bring in someone with you, like $100 on average for the tickets. Just calling it cheap there. That's probably not good seats. People will spend hundreds of dollars on those sports tickets, and they will step foot over the homeless person not sitting by the stadium on the side of the street to go pay hundreds of dollars for that sporting event because the athletes are on fire, essentially. Said differently, if you have a compelling reason why with your customers, if you have goals that are compelling, deeper reasons than just a paycheck, people will pay. People want to see that. That's what people want to see. They will pay to watch you burn. When you're on fire, people want to see that. So, and while I'm talking about goals for a minute, I'll ask you guys, I would write this question down for yourself. Do I have a goal sheet? Do I have a goal sheet? Goal sheets are a really easy way to do that. They're also a really, really good way to effectively and strategically build rapport. I'll give you an example. You don't have to do it like this. This is just how I did mine. This is what worked for me. Everyone's is going to be a little bit different. I put my goal sheet, I typed up 5 separate categories of Cutco: personal, professional, family, and financial. I did 5 categories. I'd say brainstorm 3 to 6 categories that motivate you. Here's what I did for my goals. For my Cutco goal, I put, I want to be introduced to over 100 new people. And then I'd share my goal with my customer, Ms. Jones. Through Cutco, I want to be introduced to over 100 new people. I'm getting my associates right now. I don't really know what I want to do long term, but I'd like to know as many people as possible so that way I have someone in my network and they're like, oh, that's a really smart idea. I'm like, yeah, that's a goal you can help me out with at the end, is meeting over 100 new people. So they're not necessarily going to give me 100 recommendations, but it ties them in. There's a deeper reason why they would want to give me recommendations than just, hey, I need to go sell your friends' knives to make a good paycheck. Is that a light bulb for anyone? That's what I mean by deeper reasons why. You know, another one was financial. I want to pay off a student loan. Fitness, half marathon. That was a big one of mine that I did. And a lot of people, that was a really fun thing to build rapport about with my customers that were in fitness. You don't have to do all those categories. Pick ones that inspire you, things that you're passionate about. Maybe it's something like, I know a lot of people here like to travel. Maybe it's something like that. But I would brainstorm a list of a couple things, type it out, maybe put up some clip art pictures or something cheesy like that. That's what I did. But people love that. That's not the norm, but that's what people like to see. So, and then last thing with unshakable conviction is talking about price conviction in Cutco. I would write down this question, ask yourself, how convicted are you in Cutco? Like really, like if we're getting real, you don't have to share this with anyone else, but if you're just being real with yourself, how honestly convicted are you in the product? Some of you might be 100% convicted like I am at this point. It took me a little while to get there. That's okay. That's normal. But here are a couple ways you can build your conviction. Number one is actually use it. Some of you, your sample kit probably only gets opened up on demos. Man, you got to use that stuff, especially when you get your fast start prizes. Use it. I was never really big into cooking, but when I started getting my Cutco and using it, I got so much more into cooking. It was really weird at first, but when you use the product, easy way to build conviction. Another way, customer testimonials. Every time you run into someone that knows Cutco, ask them how long they've had it. I know a couple people have posted testimonial videos in the WhatsApp. Check those out as well. And then as far as affordability, you know, if you really think there are people who can't afford Cutco, let me just take a minute, break down the numbers, and completely shatter that train of thought, completely shatter that way of thinking. I'm going to get real for a minute in terms, just break down the numbers like undisputable facts. How much is a trimmer? $73. Over a two-pay, that's $40.66. That's after tax, everything. Assuming there's 30 days in a month, that is $1.35 a day for a trimmer they're going to have the next 20, 30, 40 years. Now, there's a difference between need and want, but if someone genuinely wanted to afford, let's say you're homeless, you don't have a job, you are begging on the street. You're begging on the street for money every day. If you were to beg on the street for 30 days, do you think you're going to get at least $1.35 in change begging on the street daily? Now, is that what a homeless person is going to spend their money on?
No.
Probably not. But literally a homeless person on the street could afford it if the want was there. So I'm just going to leave that, take that for what you will, but numbers don't lie. So the third one, the third and final tool, really quick one, but also the most important, is called CANI, C-A-N-I. It's an acronym that stands for Constant and Never-Ending Improvement. And this is basically exposing yourself to impactful content. Now, I could give you a bunch of really cool like little tips and tricks on stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that in your hands. It's really how much you use these tools is up to you. But here's how you can kind of educate yourself. There's this great little thing called Vector Connect. Who knows about Vector Connect? Hopefully all of you. So I'm literally going to show you, if you want to get better at anything, whether it's closing, whether it's recommendations, I don't care what you want to get better at. Here's how you do it. You go to Vector Connect. There's this little tab right here called the library. You can go to the video library. There's some good stuff there. I recommend the audio library. That's where you can see there are 65 pages of recorded messages on literally anything you could possibly imagine. Let's go. Raise your hand if you have something that you want to get better at with this job. Cool. Saf, what's something you want to get better at with Gecko?
Recommendations.
Okay. Wow. And that's just Rex. You can spell out recommendations.
Yeah, if you talk about recommendations, I think
There's
12
pages.
or 16.
There's pages. You guys get my point. Let's say closing. Who wants to get better at closing, whether it's percentage or just closing big orders? Check this out. Whole page. If I had to recommend one or two, I'd recommend Hal Elrod. All of his content is outstanding. Another one is John Berghoff. I'll show you how to spell his name.
Customers, there's time management, there's goal setting, there's phone skills,
I think that's how it's spelled.
objections.
Is it John?
John Berghoff here at
Jon.
Is he any affiliation to Berkhoff?
John Berghoff is he has a book how to get sales.
Oh,
every day.
Berg.
Yeah, there's some there's like two spellings of his last name. Some
It's right
people, no, there if you spell it differently, like a whole bunch of other ones will come up. But my point is that whatever you want to get better at, I could give you all kinds of cool tips and tricks, but it's up to you to actually want to make the difference. So if anyone has any questions, we can do it after the team meeting one-on-one to respect everyone's time. But this is literally the greatest resource you could possibly give yourself. You can download them to iTunes. You can sync them to your phone, hook them up to your aux cord or whatever, play some real fire while you're driving, even to just your appointments. This is the reason I sold 36 grand my first summer. I just played a bunch of talks. I was hungry. I wanted to feed myself this stuff and just mastered the fundamentals. So to recap the tools, master the fundamentals, have unshakable conviction, and constant and never-ending improvement. So hopefully you guys got a little value from this. That's what I got for you guys.
So if we can, to honor everyone's time, go to WhatsApp real quick, Game Changers group, post your biggest light bulb, 2-3 light bulbs from tonight's meeting. So you got Tyler's message, you got Amanda's message, you got Mr. Jeff Gamboa, and then you have my comments that I talked about gratitude. So anything from tonight that you thought was prevalent or relevant, you can post that up on the WhatsApp group instead of going around the horn. Save us a little bit of time there, and then make sure you send me a direct message about SLDM, and I'll give you a formal invitation as far as that goes, and get you the formal details with the link, and connect you with Mr. Jeff Gamboa. And then if you have friends that you want me to set up for interviews during this next week, I know Steven just sent some 3-way text messages connecting me. I sent some 3-way text messages. We are, these next 3 weeks, I want to get you guys to Cancun, and we also want to interview some people before the crazy storm that's about to hit. Last summer, we took 6,000 applications. I just want to repeat that, 6,000. We recruited 92 of them. So this summer, I want to recruit 150. That's why I have a staff of 7 that's going to help us recruit that many and sustain that. So we are ready. We're ready for it, and I'd much rather provide the jobs to your friends, and I'd much rather do that earlier than wait until June. So that way we can really connect on our dream summer, which we have the potential for $1 million summer this summer if we connect on all cylinders. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Thank you for a great night, and just get with your coach before you guys check out for the night. If you guys want to do a team night, staff, you guys can coordinate it. I just need to get a moment with the 3 of you before you guys head out. Cool. And then everybody else, you guys are all golden. Thank you for a great night. Get with your staff. I think we should do a team chant. We haven't done a team chant in a while.
And do before we all get together?
Yeah.
Get separate?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. How about everyone puts their chair up against the wall, then we'll make a big circle.
Oh, I have training tomorrow, so please stack your chair. Please stack your chair. I do have training tomorrow.
Chair, then get right back in the center.
Who should do? I think Chelsea should do our team chant. I think Chelsea should lead us tonight in the team chant arena.
What are the words again? What time is the game time? And the art time.
All right. Bye, everybody.